be careful what you ask for. And I ask. I want something to happen. I manifest, I ask, and I go for it because I see and feel it.
All right, guys, today I'm super pumped. We have a very special guest. We have Lina Kennedy. She is the author of The Sugar Queen. And I'm just going to basically read her bio real quick, and then I'll let her introduce herself. And we've got some amazing topics to cover. She's done some really big things in the beauty industry. So here we go. So Lina, she was forced to grow up supporting her alcoholic father at the age of 11. She was told to marry a millionaire, but she chose to become one instead. Today, she's known as the Sugar Queen and founder of Alexandria Professional, a multi-million-dollar business beauty brand across the world with over 30,000 products sold. You know, behind her story, she's got, abusive childhood, and we're going to get into some of that stuff today and how she overcame that. But, the cool thing is even Finland's top beauty therapist association has given her an award for her Ergo Wave product. She's got huge companies for sugaring training, and then her book just recently came out, The Sugar Queen, and we'll cover some of those topics today. So all right, Lina, sorry for the long intro, but if you want to kind of just introduce yourself.
All right, well, I've been in the beauty industry for 30 years, so I am that person that officiated providing professional body sugaring education to the beauty industry worldwide. I think that's one of the reasons why Dermascope magazine labeled me as the authority of professional body sugaring.
Wow.
And other countries, because I honest to God, I believe if I hadn't done what I've done in the research and development of what happens when you do proper body sugaring, relatable to the stages of hair growth, I don't think it would have ever existed anywhere on the market other than the Middle Eastern countries where people still do the raw at-home method, right? It's that old. We're going back to the Cleopatra days, but that's that story to me is so old. I mean, we shared that 30 years ago, but today it's all about 100% professionalism. I feel very blessed. We put out a theory. It's my theory. That's why it's called the Kennedy theory to professional body sugaring, hair removal. And then we have a technique theory. And in everything we've been doing over the years, like we set the standard worldwide. It doesn't mean everybody follows it, because as God is my witness, I can tell you so many stories about people saying, I don't want to do what you do. I just want to sell sugar. So they do like 4-hour classes, 1-day classes. That's what would have stayed in the marketplace because it's faster. And if people don't know just how wonderful of the benefits they can offer to their clients by following our processes, if they don't know about it, if they've never felt it and seen it and heard their customers rave about it, then they would just do the standard tuck, tuck, tuck that you see online to take, to do the treatment. But everything we do, Jake, is to reach permanent reduction. I can say permanency because I've had it for over 2 decades on my body and others too worldwide. But legally, we can say permanent reduction. But we don't just reach that for the hair. When we do our treatment and include the full circle of skin conditioning, which I created for the skin's benefit, now, and I have a lot of information coming out now, we actually work with psoriasis, eczema, and keratosis and reach amazing, sustainable results.
That's awesome.
It's like, but there's you know what? You're going to have to step in with me because I have so much real information to share that you got to cut me off somewhere because I'm all about the education, all about it.
So how did you get into the beauty industry? I guess we'll take a step back and start there.
So the reality of it, I was never an advocate of the beauty industry. I mean, I make jokes about how I had a couple of boy friends that would come to my house with a bottle of wine and their scissors. They were hairstylists, right? That's how I took care of my hair when I was younger. But as God is my witness, a prayer and crying myself to sleep one night and waking up the next day is why I'm here 30 years later. This is a big part of the book because of who I am and what I live by. And it was like a really bad car accident, and I was laid up in bed for quite a while, and you got to read the book to know the whole story, but that's how it happened. So I say to everybody, be careful what you ask for. And I ask. I want something to happen. I manifest, I ask, and I go for it because I see and feel it. And that was just another one of those stories that actually took place. Yeah.
That's awesome. So let's break it down. Like, what are your like main companies right now?
So we have Alexandria Professional, of course, and we have about maybe like 40 SKUs now, and it's all we're like I was it's so funny. I love the beauty industry now. I was paraben free before it became a thing in America, because when you do work, especially in Europe or Japan or Korea, they have really higher standards. They're more advanced in that form. And so I was trained to be paraben free and all the good stuff free because of the laws regulating the beauty industry in other countries. So I remember when they gave us a few years, manufacturers in America, and said, okay, you got to change this. And then everybody was putting like paraben free on their bottles. And people are saying, oh, aren't we paraben free? I said, we teach you all about the ingredients. You just have to look at the information we give. Like, we've been paraben free. Well, shouldn't you put it on your bottle? But we were that before we were told to be that,
Right.
So it's just kind of funny how things are very different. So the Alexandria Professional is vegan, gluten-free, because I wanted to take care of customers that have celiac and can't have any gluten touch their skin, not just ingest, right? So we did that, paraben-free and cruelty-free. We're really a healthy brand. Now we're looking at how to be more sustainable regarding plastic bottling. It's not as easy as the consumer might think, and we're constantly looking at that as well, without raising the prices, because there's a lot of games out there right now in manufacturing. So we care about everybody,
Right.
So that's the main one. That's the
Okay.
one that, takes a lot of dedication to the market, education. Otherwise, we'd just be like the other companies and not care. I'm okay to grow slow and steady, because quality matters to us. And then we have Comfortate, PMS for PMS, and we're about to do a huge market push on that one. That's for menstrual cramps. It works like a charm. We have great reviews, and so now we're going to go on a bigger scale on social media with that. And we're working on getting into some big pharmacies in Canada as well. And then we have, it's still part of AP, Alexandria Professional, but we have a brand called Kiss Waxing that came out for consumers through COVID, because you can imagine, in business for 30 years, and then COVID hit.
Yeah.
So it's like all the salons worldwide stop. I'm like, what the heck are we going to do? So we started working with our salons and created an ambassador program for them to sell the Kiss Waxing. We had it for professional schools, right? It's another long story. But we did an ambassador so they can sell to their clients without having to carry inventory, because they were shut down. And we wanted to create a revenue stream while they were shut down, because it helps them, but it helps us too. So we're working, partnering. It became so successful that we created an at-home kit, really adorable, to sell through retail, because there's always the kind of customer that prefers to do some things at home privately. Maybe they'll go for their bikinis or eyebrows, but maybe they can do their legs. Anyway, stuff like that. It became so successful that Walmart picked it up.
Wow.
So we did a special economical, because Walmart's all about the economics, right? We did like the value. So we did a special little package just for them. We're online right now, and we're scheduled to go into 3,000 stores at the end of this year.
Wow, congrats.
So that was our COVID. And then we were allowed to stay open because we created a very healthy, if you can believe it, healthier hand sanitizer. We didn't use ethanols and things like that really are bad for the skin or bad to put on your skin or really smell bad. We created a healthy, more natural smelling with aloe vera to condition the skin. And we made up for lost sales immediately in the Western New York. We were everywhere because they knew we had a healthy manufacturing process. So it's a lot of stuff happened to us through COVID, and now we're just booming on all levels. We're just booming because we stayed together. We supported each other. We stayed together. Yeah,
that's awesome, because I know during COVID, like you really had two choices. You could either sit back and say, "Oh, this sucks," and we're gonna wait, or let's adapt and figure out how we can still flourish and succeed in this kind of economy and market.
Yeah, the first 2 weeks when everything really shut down, all my office team, we got on a phone every day at 9 o'clock for 1 hour hour discussing what can we do, what can we prepare for in the future. We actually did videography for all of our. We created an online academy as well through
Wow.
COVID.
That's awesome.
It looks like a university It's so fun because the team I had was exceptional, and so we have like amazing master classes, certification. We're so that nobody can touch us with the 10-foot pole with the kind of online academy we created through COVID. So now we were able to train long distance. Don't lose your time. Get ready when we go back to work. So we just kept ourselves busy looking to when this comes back to normalcy. And because of this, we grew worldwide. We have so many distributors who bought into our online academy to help grow their territories via distancing. We're just very blessed that I have a great team that don't mind my crazy bouncing all over the place ideas.
And that's why I love having someone, as big of a name as you are on this podcast, because I work with a lot of solo business owners and they don't understand the concept, or they're not in a position to, necessarily have a team or delegate. And so, obviously you couldn't do all this stuff if you didn't have an awesome team, which you've already mentioned.
Yes, today, no. But you talk about the solo team. I was a small solo team 30 years ago. Mm-hmm. And I'm a firm believer. If you want, you can. Change your mind, change your situation.
Yes.
I believe in that. So just being solo, I was solo, plus I was raising my son by myself, right? Mm. So I look at it as like, really, if you want, you can. Whatever I had to do on a daily basis, I made sure it got done. And I'm a clean fanatic, so I had to clean my house at 3:00 in the morning. So if you're willing to put in the time, mm-hmm. because time is not just physical, time is like you have to create and think and try. It can't just be thinking and, oh, yes, it would be nice. Yes, of course. But what can you do now? Mm-hmm. If it would be nice, what do you need to do to get it started? Because the minute you start, you put it out to the universe, you're ready. So get that first step out, and don't stop moving. No matter you get shut down, you get thrown in a corner, just keep, which way can you go now? Pivot, change mm-hmm. your mind. It's really, that's why I won't do a how-to book. I don't believe there's a secret to anything.
Right.
I think life can be really simple, and that should be the secret. And it shouldn't even be a secret, but that should be what people say, because what do they say? Bullshit baffles the brain. I refuse to do that. Yep. It's really not complicated. If you want, you can. Yeah.
And I think that's where people really struggle, is they overcomplicate everything in their mind. They're like, well, to do this, I've got to do this and this and this. And, just what would you say to that?
Or that failure to launch, right? Mm-hmm. The guy that said an invention is 1% inspiration, 99% perspiration, right? So my team knows if they come to me with an idea, it's like, what are you going to do to implement it? Let's talk about that. It's a great idea. Okay, but that's it. It stops there. Now we got to put the work in. So a lot of people sit only on the ideas and never really get it going. You can't wait for perfection. Right. Like in my time, we used to make fun. People would wait until they had the 2-car garage and a big house before they would have children. Well, sometimes you may never, it may take much longer. You don't mm-hmm. need to postpone the childbirth of your ideas, your business, because everything's not perfect.
Right.
In a perfect world, we would have all the financing to hire all the best minds, to hire all the best strategists, to have the most beautiful production packaging. At the end of the day, you have this voice, this mind, these eyes to share with people, right? And your concept. Get out there. Because if you're not out in front of the people, it'll never come to somewhere. And don't wait to think you're going to have the perfect thing that's going to go viral. Because even viral can take, and I'm about to prove it. Next time I come on and see you, Jake, I'm about to prove that even viral could take 15 years. All of a sudden, everything, all the elements, the financing, everything comes together and boom. Shakalaka. That's what I'm waiting.
I love your energy. So, do you feel like you got a lot of your resiliency and, mindset, through your childhood? Because I know in your bio, it mentioned you had a kind of a rough childhood.
So I had a childhood that I like to take control of. The day that I took control, I never let it go. By control, I mean, I want to be free to be who I am. Yeah. I can, people laugh at me, people cry with me, but but I'm okay. At the end of the day, I know I'm no better, no worse than anyone else. So this is me. Sometimes I say something that's kind of like half-assed backwards, and my daughter's like, Mom, you got to get rid of that French. And then other times it's kind of like, sounds like I'm flighty, but I know I'm not. It's just that I have a deep connection. And so sometimes it's just a flowing thing. And then other times I can beat down the best conversations like we're doing with business and get to the core of an idea because it's experience and you just learn to cut through everything through years of experience, you know? So for me, it's just about getting it done. That's it.
That's awesome. So one of the topics that kind of really interest me on your book was called Brains, Beauty, and Brawn. And it says how Lina boldly protected and authentically capitalized on her sex appeal in business. Can we go into that a little bit?
That's like, guys, that's a little bit of marketing there. But so what I want to say about that is I know when I was younger, okay, today's maybe a different story, obviously. But when I was younger, I knew I had, I was never beautiful, but I knew there's a presence about enthusiasm, right? So I always had the big hair. This is not big anymore, but I used to have very big hair, a big smile. So I always knew that was appealing. If you want to call it that sex appeal, combined with an enthusiastic personality, I could walk in through any door and let anybody forgive anything I may not quite know as well as they do. But I was never afraid to use that package to gain the information I needed from others. So, and being blonde, I'm going to tell you, in the day where it was still mostly men involved, being, that typical crazy blonde concept that people have, sometimes you just kind of like lean your back into it and say, you can think whatever you want, but at the end of the day, I'm walking away with what I need. I know that for sure. That's a little bit of play. You learn to use what you have, right?
Yeah, and it's interesting, and like it's a controversial topic sometimes because I don't want to offend anyone or say that this person's more attractive than this person, but I do think studies show that the more attractive you are, whether it's your personality or your looks or whatever that factor may be, will make you more successful or more likely to be successful.
100%. So I had to learn to dress myself, certain things that work better. I'm more free in how I dress today than I was maybe 30, even 20 years ago, because, they say fake it till you make it. So when I was really young, I would wear that beautiful suit, but that was like an edge of power, an edge of something. Right? As opposed to going in my own personality, it wouldn't have worked as well back then. So I had to show I was more serious because of my age as well. Right? Whereas today, at this age, I could like whatever I want, and people still want to hear me because the proof is in the pudding, right? Or
exactly.
The proof is in the sugar. Yeah.
And it's very inspiring for me to see, like, you've been crushing it for years and years. And like, I know my 31st birthday is in a couple of days, or it's actually tomorrow. And so I'm thinking like, I'm getting old and stuff but just to know that I can
double your age. Are you crazy?
I mean, to know that I can potentially have that much longer in business and stuff is inspiring.
That's the whole thing. So another little thing that if I could go back and tell myself, I would stop thinking the way you just thought, like before you acknowledge the good thing. It's like, time, I'm this age. Oh my God.
Yeah.
Time is the biggest thief of your comfort and of your freedom. The word time, if you didn't think about time, I think you would enjoy the journey tenfold more.
Yes.
Because things come and happen in the right moment, the flow of what you're creating. Everything will always come to you if you continue, not continue in a wrong direction. If you feel something's wrong, you change. Okay, that's not a big deal. It's not, it's going to take me longer now. No, okay, we go this way. Enjoy it, because when you shift or pivot, especially if you listen to yourself or your environment, what's going on, it's inevitably going to take you to a better place than where you were. That's the value of the journey. Like that's true joy. Everybody wants to make big bucks. No, I tell every woman, do not be ashamed about making money. Know your worth, especially in the beauty industry. Don't be afraid to charge. Like, if I tell you how much I used to charge for doing the treatment, you'd say, what? I say it in a book. I never undercharged for anything. But when I lived in LA, I did have some people that would pay me. I'd be with them for a couple hours, $1,000 plus big tips, right?
Nice.
To do their bodies. And and I would tell them, you can go to my studio. It was called Studio Alexandria, LA. You could go to my studio. I have more than qualified girls. You don't need me to come here. But if you want me to, this is what you pay, because I really don't want to be doing this anymore. I have other things to tend to.
Right.
But they want it. But I believed in myself, and I can honestly say I am 100% the best sugarist in the world. But it doesn't mean others are not as good as I am. I work to make them as good as I am, because then everybody feels wonderful when they have the treatment done. You don't feel pain. You don't feel it's so fluid. One time when I was on a TV show in Italy, the host in the end said, watching Lina Kennedy is like watching our famous conductor conduct an orchestra. So he saw the melody to the treatment, right? Because it's not harsh at all if you do it right. So he saw the melody, and he saw the models I was doing feel like, wow, this is amazing. Yeah,
Wow.
I don't know. You've got to stop me, because I get so excited with all the stories.
No, that's awesome. And so now I'm curious. My mind's kind of running. So for all my listeners and my clients who are not offering sugaring right now, what are the advantages of having that as an extra service?
Oh my God. Oh my God. So just to give you a little idea, I won't say who. We have a salon that's doing so well. Probably I would say one of the best active body sugaring salons in America, other than some of our LAB franchises. She's really honed in on professional body sugaring, really put all her energy on understanding the full circle side. She's opening up her second location and just placed a massive order. She understands it. So if you have a salon and you're not offering any hair removal, but you got a room you can do it in, we can teach you how to reach the highest revenue in hair removal you'll ever gain, without thinking you have to do laser, because even laser has gone so low over the last couple of years, and have tremendous limitations. So if you bring Alexandria Professional system in, we won't just teach you how to reach permanent results, how to put your customers on 6 months packages or minute packages for hormonal hair. Like, our education is endless, really. We'll teach you how to improve the skin's integrity for everyone, and how to treat skin that has no hair and still make your clients go, damn, that's really amazing. Because it's not just about the hair. It's about improving the overall skin's condition. It's really fantastic. And everything we have does so many things. You don't need a lot of products at all. There's like so much good you can do for your clients.
What's the average, cost of the products per customer?
Oh my God, we're looking. So because if someone comes in and they want, let's say, their underarms done, well, that small piece of sugar you take for the underarms will do the bikini as well. So, if they come in for brows, that small piece will do the upper lip, little nose hairs, little chin hairs. So you can make upwards of, what's our sheet? In one container, which is salon cost, I believe, is $38.50. I don't even know, probably, or $39. I'm not sure. I know there's an inflation thing that just happened. One container will yield you well over $1,000, $2,000, $3,000. It depends on what you're doing with it, because you need so little. Because the consistency of our formulation lasts throughout the job, right? And then what we did, I know you don't know the sugaring part, but if anyone's listening right now about sugaring, and then what we did, because sometimes you get a lot of hair and skin, and it makes the sugar a little bit more tough to work with. So we created what we call an adjuster, sugar paste adjuster. So it's a liquefied sugar. You can't do hair removal with it, and you squeeze it in, you blend it, and then you continue to work. So we economized the value of the treatment product usage even more. So you might pay a little more than some competitors for the jar, but it goes farther than the competitors. And it's really good for the skin. I know there's some sugar paste out there, when you use it to the skin, so you get an uncomfortable feel to the skin. Ours doesn't do that. It's really, really super gentle.
Now I'm going to show my ignorance right now, but is it actual like table sugar or is it a blend of
Oh,
things?
can't tell you. It's
Okay.
sugar, lemon, water, but I cannot tell you what kind,
Okay.
because everybody wants to know, what the hell does Alexandria Professional do?
Yeah.
Well, I can tell you that we know sugar like there's no tomorrow. And the manufacturing of it, we have it down to a fine science, because even the rooms are controlled to certain, like everything, temperature, humidity has been built to control. And we are a GMP compliant manufacturer, and we are
Okay.
registered with the FDA. So we're not making, I won't say any names, but we're not making sugar in our homes and selling it in Tupperware container. We're really,
Yeah.
because we also do labels like for the Comforté pain management. So we're very, very serious manufacturers. Yeah.
And so, like, let's say I want to get trained on sugaring. Do I need any special license, or does it depend on the state?
So basically in America, you basically need an aesthetic license,
Okay.
or at the very least a waxing license. And again, you're right, depending on the states. Like I know in Alabama, they don't have sugaring in their licensing programs. So we're not really regulated there. So we're a little bit more free. Like if a nurse wanted to get trained, I think at least a few years ago, we could train them because there's no licensing regulating sugaring. But we don't just teach the public to here, do this professionally, you know. Whereas in Canada, there is no licensing regulations. We can teach anyone. And generally, when somebody learns it, they do a professional business. So they really take the training very serious.
Right.
Yeah. And then you have to do a 2-day class with us.
Okay.
And then you have to practice and come back for a certification, which we do a lot of accommodations online now. And then that's just to get you going with the basics. The only way you can become as good as I am is by practicing and reviewing, or having your technique reviewed periodically, because sometimes, we get so busy that we start to pick up little bad habits. Got to nip those in order to keep it as effective and gentle as it should be. So we have a lot of master classes. Yeah.
Awesome. Yeah, thanks for the answer to those questions. I know a lot of my clients or a lot of my listeners are permanent makeup artists, and so they don't get many repeat customers within a 1-year time frame. It's usually like 1 year or longer. And so this would be a great way for them to get, repeat customers.
Yes. Well, we just signed up with a company, a big franchise in America called Decalash. So their expertise going with exactly on point what you just said, Jake. They do lashes. So they reached out to us to do eyebrow shaping, eyebrow sugaring. And we had them, instead of doing the finger sugaring, because of the training aspect, and they have almost 120 locations, right? So they're really growing fast.
Yeah.
So what we did is we offered them the professional kiss waxing, because everybody knows how to wax, right? It's sugar though. Kiss waxing is not wax, it's waxing technique. Kiss stands for keep it strip sugar waxing. Something I created in 2008 when the Cosmo State Board of Jersey banned Brazilian waxing. It was, I don't know if you remember that, it was a huge thing in the market. I was in Croatia when it happened. And because 3 people were admitted in Jersey to the hospital for staph infection, and one woman died. Staph infection caused by Brazilian waxing. So when they banned, it was a huge turmoil in the industry. But what they did is they remanded that decision. But that was the birth of no more double dipping worldwide. And I thought, oh my God, what are the schools going to do? Can you imagine how expensive dipping the spatulas and throwing away, dipping and throwing away, dipping? Like, I watched one guy do a man bikini from England. He used something like 72 spatulas because there's no double dipping.
Okay.
Where's the tree hugging? But the cost factor is insane, right? So that's when I went to work. We had some failures and created Kiss Waxing, the first squeezable waxing system. There's no dipping, there's no cross-contamination, there's no burning, there's no negativity at all. You squeeze, one spatula, spread, strip. Squeeze, spread, strip. So that was my gift. That was my gift to the beauty industry, the beauty schools. I wasn't worried about the market. The market is learning how to do professional sugaring. And then people started saying, I'd like to do this in my salon. Okay. So now we teach the kiss waxing system as well. So where was I going with this story?
I don't know. To me, you're just like a super entrepreneur because, like, anytime, whether it's the New Jersey laws or the pandemic, like, anytime you see what most people would consider a problem or a setback, you see it as an opportunity to provide more value.
Absolutely. Because I believe there's always a solution if you just stay calm, clear your mind, and put out, what can we do here? What's a good solution? And let it come to you. And generally, it always does.
So with all your stuff going on, what's your typical like daily routine like?
I feel like I'm blessed. So I'm up at 6 o'clock, take care of the cat and dog, and then I work out for an hour. And not rigorous, but I definitely take care of myself. And then I'm on the internet, my emails, my social media, everywhere where people try to reach out to me from all sources. So between 8:30 and 11, I've had a very busy morning. And then from there, it's whatever comes my way or project I'm working on. But I have more time. I'm able to really take more time to enjoy myself these days because I have a great team. That's what growing is all about. Putting better people. I need better people than me if I want to grow, right? I don't have an ego when it comes to that. So you get better people. You can sort of step down a bit. It's not down, but step aside, and that's where I'm at. Like I'll be in Europe next weekend. I'm doing 2 big symposiums, one in Italy and one in Portugal, and they're filled. So I'm going to talk about why choose AP, how can you grow with AP, how can you reach $1 million, and I know exactly strategically how to grow to at least $1 million, but you have to be willing to put the work into it. But I know how to do that, so I teach all that. Yeah.
That's awesome. All right, so I know that you're in over 30 countries. How did you start growing internationally?
So remember when I said I believe in if you want, you can? The very, very first country I ever went into was Hungary because I was affiliated with a woman from my hometown in Canada, small hometown, who was working for the government and kind of came to me and said, Lina, we're doing a kind of like a symposium for the Canadian government and Canadian businesses in Hungary. Would you like to partake? That was my first little step. So we did this big proposal to the government. They paid basically for me to go there. And that's where I found my first distributor. And then from doing the trade shows, they're kind of like spread. It was great. It was wildfire. So we were talking about the first country I entered via the Canadian government in Hungary. But it was also the very first experience I had at really seriously being cheated. But it did open up the possibilities of other countries. And I didn't really have to go looking for people. People would contact us, and if I thought they were a worthy component company willing to put the work into it, then I traveled to their country. I traveled to their place of business and trained educators. I'd be there for a few weeks, training their educators, doing some seminars for them to train some salons. And really, I set up each and every single country we're in so far. Yeah.
Wow.
And we're still growing. Yeah.
And that's awesome because you get to see the world while, deducting it as a business trip.
Here's a funny thing. In a book, I share a story when I was younger, riding my bike around the neighborhood. I'd always peek into the people's homes because I always like to see how they decorate, but I didn't want to see the people. And every time I rode my bike and saw picket fences, everybody, I want a house with a white picket fence. I'm like, not for me. I want the world to be my backyard. This is me as a kid, right? And look what I did. I created the world as my backyard. And I used to make jokes before I went to Hungary. I'm like a modern gypsy girl. And then I go to Hungary. They're like, no, don't say that. This is not a good thing. Just because the gypsies are from there. And I think I went to a real gypsy home. It was like hilarious. So many funny stories. Oh my God. I love life. Like it's just crazy.
That's awesome. So I guess like if you could go back to your 30-year-old self, what would you tell her to do differently?
Okay, guys, listen up because I'm on fast track now. I'm teaching my 2 daughters who are 27 and 26. Start investing when you're young.
Hmm.
Really. My investment was my company, so I have no regrets in that way. But I could have done things a little better that would have really made another kind of difference to my life today. But it's okay. Everything worked out, but it doesn't always work out. So take care of your personal self, not just what the business needs.
Hmm.
And let go the word time. Just do. Like Nike said, just do it. I tell you, when you snooze, you lose. I said that long before they came out with the slogan, just do it. But I snoozed, right? So now I own so many trademarks. Like, I think trademark this. Really? Yeah, just do it. Somebody live and learn. I couldn't fight them. But that's really just it. Just do it. Enjoy the
Hmm.
ride. Just get started. Take that first step. Yeah. And
So what
save
do
a
you
little for yourself.
what do you tell them to invest in?
Oh, I don't because I'm not a professional investor. But even if you just start in anything simple, just a savings account or bonds or do something, I'm not a I don't even gamble because I don't like to. I
Mm.
gamble and take risks, calculated risks in my business.
Yeah.
I know how to do that. They've not all been successful. I've lost, from trusting people but that's okay. You learn and you move on. You cannot let yourself beat yourself down just because something didn't go the right way. Learn from it and move on
Right.
because tomorrow it won't matter anymore. This is something else I share with people. When we dream and we wake up, wow, that was really vivid. It felt
Hmm.
so real. You might have cried and you're actually crying or laughed, woke up laughing or so real. But as the day goes by, it becomes what? The same feeling as a memory.
Hmm.
Eventually, it just doesn't really, unless you attach yourself to it. It can literally go where it doesn't pain you. It's just like, let's say I spent too much money. I went shopping and God, I really didn't need to spend a lot of money on that. I know today, if I just stop thinking within a couple of days, it won't really matter. I won't feel it like I did today. So now I
Yep.
just let it go faster. And you just learn, you just let stuff go faster.
I'm gonna cut that part out so my wife doesn't hear it.
I'm going to send her a personal note.
Yeah. She might forget about it, but I won't.
Oh my God. That's cute.
All right, so we got to talk about marketing a little bit on this podcast. So, like, you've been in business a long time. So, have you seen the difference between, like, pre-internet versus internet, and now, with all your e-commerce,
Oh,
products?
wow. Huge game changer. Good, bad, and sometimes indifferent because
Hmm.
I find that things were really simple when we did, print ads, TV ads, things like that, right? But it was quite costly and you were limited
Hmm.
in the outreach. So the good thing about the internet is that your outreach is endless where you want it to be. But at the same time, with the millions and millions of products online, you can get lost in the shuffle as well,
Yep.
right? And there's a lot more BS going on now. I think the consumers are finally waking up and becoming a little bit more intelligent, which
Hmm.
is needed. They need to be accountable for what they purchase, what they need, and learn about it, right? And I feel like it's getting stronger and stronger. So now I can say from having had the experience of spending money and not getting a single thing out of it, focus is necessary, even online. Going too broad, you're watering down the value of your money.
Yeah.
So now we compile, we're going to do a big campaign in the tri-state to train salons and also with the beauty schools.
Hmm.
And so we're going to hyper focus in a tri-state, meaning like New York, Ohio, and Pennsylvania.
Hmm.
And we're always recognized everywhere else. We do stuff, and this kind of spreads out because we share whatever. But our dollars for ads are going to go on a hyper focus of the tri-state, and that's something we've learned. You can't grow without marketing, but if you don't have a budget, really, I've been there. If you don't have money to throw out, what's your best marketing? This,
Yep.
this, and this. Go out, talk to people because one by one, no matter how slow you think it is, will get you to where you want to go. the biggest mistake you can make, remember we failure to launch, oh, I don't have enough money to do this, is not using you. It's your idea, whatever you're doing. Nobody can represent it better than you. So get yourself out there, really.
Yeah. And I know that's huge for really in any business, but especially in the beauty industry, is being able to, just like you said, you had qualified girls, but people wanted to come to you because they were attracted to your personality and just your energy. And we have to use ourselves as our main, focal point.
It's very easy. Don't think you don't have the right personality as long as you're going to share. I've never sold anybody. Everybody says, oh, Lina, you can sell ice to the Eskimos. Only if theirs is contaminated. I can't sell for BS, right?
Right.
So I always make sure I believe in everything I represent or manufacture. I wouldn't produce it if I didn't feel what I feel for it. And I have to be able to express every benefit about it. Why is it so great? What will it really do for them? This is very important. But it's not about, and of course, how you present yourself is going to matter to the person. And those checkpoints, odor, some people have odor, but you have to look at how are you going to control the odor. Don't eat stuff that, garlic and spices and herbs that's going to make your breath. All these tiny little things are things that could put a little block up to the person as you're trying to share. So just get yourself in check. Feel good about who you are, how you represent yourself. Know everything about the product you're representing, and then just share. Just be honest and open and ready to receive feedback with an open mind. As long as you don't jump at the person, so much good can happen just from your communication without all the bells and whistles of marketing dollars.
Right. So
trade shows, they're back. Maybe next year will be better. This year was still slow. But, trade shows, if you can afford that, is a good place to share, right?
Yeah. And so I guess going back to mindset a little bit, just because I think that's one of the biggest things for people, because without being able to start or, all the details don't even matter,
That's right.
So I guess right now you're loving life and you're, in an amazing spot, but I'm sure there were times, where you went through challenges and you were maybe got down.
Are you kidding? God.
I mean, I'm sure there were.
Read the book. You're going to say, how did she survive? One day at a time, literally. I mean, I would wake up hyperventilating and crying from my sleep. The stress was so high.
Wow.
I've been broke so many times because of wrong decisions or trusting the wrong people. I've lost people who tried to steal all the data. Really. But I'm still here. And the one person I know I can always count on is me. So anything that took me down, because I still wanted to, because I still believe in what I do.
Right.
I just picked up again and went back one by one. Let's grow. Let's build. So now I learned to take care of the growth and I don't try to grow like this. I grow and then I push it down, solidify that foundation. I grow, solidify, and then it just keeps getting stronger and higher, but that foundation is strong. So I can grow. If I do happen to shoot up by miracle, something great happens and I shoot up, that foundation can hold that growth now. And that's what it takes. Because you can lose. Can you imagine taking a Walmart account 30 years ago? Or a better story I put in a book with Oprah, right? I won't go into the whole story. It's in a book. But so I went to the Oprah show, but I didn't end up on her show. I ended up in her audience. They invited, blah, blah, blah. It's another story. But the bottom line to that story is, if I had been successful being on her show, we weren't ready. We would have crashed.
Yep.
So it would have been a lost opportunity for nothing. And people would have remembered I was there and then I was gone. Whereas I'm still here 30 years later, not on her show yet, but still, she's gone.
Well, this is almost as good as Oprah.
There you go. Yeah, because you've got people from our industry listening to us. I love that.
So how do you find that balance between obviously we're ambitious and we want to grow, but how do you when do you know to take a step back and solidify the foundation?
When things start to feel a little bit out of your control, that, and anybody in business knows something's really off a bit, you need to take back, collect, look at everything and restructure or, clear out or stabilize. And then you can take a breath to go forward.
Right.
Remember I said it's simple? So maybe I'm not expressing it well enough, because it really is simple for me. You just have to do it. You have to be willing. Pushing is one thing. You have to be willing to do what it takes. Mm-hmm. But also taking a step back is another acceptance of what you need to do.
Yeah, right? I love the theme you keep throwing out, is keeping it simple, because I don't know if you know who Tony Robbins is, but he talks about, all the complicated things. You do what's called chunking, and take okay, maybe there's 10 different topics or 10 different steps to something, and just bringing it into one, and keep it simple.
Yeah, okay. I don't really listen to Tony Robbins, mm-hmm. but I have to agree with what you just said. If he's saying that, then I'm all about that, because making something complicated, it's much easier to take something complicated and make it come simple and represent that than try to keep it complicated to put out, because, like I said, bullshit baffles the brain, yep. Right? And I think if it's too much, people don't feel they can't connect to it.
Yeah, and a lot of people hide behind complications. So a lot of people say I don't understand, or it's too complicated, but what they really mean is they're just kind of scared to take the next step and scared to really commit.
To dissect, yeah, that's it. Because everything is doable. If you want, you can. Or change your mind, change your situation. That's life.
I guess this is a selfish question, because I'm in the process of growing a team and stuff. So when you were first starting out and growing your team, what kind of qualities did you look for? Did you look for people like you, or did you look for people with different sets of skills, or was it a combination?
Combination. You have to be able to get along with the people you hire. So in all these years, there was only one gentleman I hired that I couldn't get close to him. I don't know what it was like. And he wasn't a terrible person, but if he came, anywhere 4 feet or less into my space, everything was bad inside. Mm-hmm. And so I had to let him go, because you have to be able to work with the people. So that's number one. It doesn't mean they have to be like you, but you have to have some common ground in philosophy of doing business or dealing with people. Otherwise, you're gonna really rub hard. But the other one is hire the people that fill your weaknesses. Yep. I do that. That's that's business 101. I don't want to be the smartest person in the room, because I'm already pretty creative. I need smarter people than me that can help take that creation and make it real. All the steps, the strategizing, besides just me. Mm-hmm. So that's hire your weaknesses, where your weak points are. Fill those holes. Yeah.
Do you find that you're the personality type that has a lot of great ideas and you're very creative, but sometimes you're all over the place?
Yeah.
That's how I am. So that's how I recognize that.
Everybody at the office will say, what they do now as of last year through COVID, because even through COVID, they're like, holy shit, we're not even slowing down, They made stop signs. Stop. Stop. I say, oh, guys, stop. We're working on these ideas first. Put it in your back burner, because I got a big chef's stove with all these ideas on the burners back there, and some are sitting over here on the side waiting to come to the forefront. But
exactly,
I promised this year we finish everything we're working on that's new, and next year I'm coming out.
Yeah, I had to hire a guy just to keep me organized, because I have all these ideas all over the place, but a lot of times it doesn't get done because I don't stick with it.
Put them to the side. Put them to the side. I had some ideas that maybe never came out for 10 years. I'm like, okay, you know what, that thing I did, let's see about that. Okay, it was kind of silly. It didn't really work, but at least I got to try it. You don't have to rush on everything, but you got to do one thing really, really focused and well.
Yeah. If
you want to succeed. Billions of ideas. Remember, an idea is 1% inspiration, 99% perspiration. Thomas Edison.
Yeah.
Took me a while.
All right. So Lina Kennedy, the Sugar Queen, that's the title of the book. Where can they find the book at?
So they can get it at linakennedy.com. We just, not officially, but the new site has just been launched again. We're doing a lot of good stuff there. Or they can go on Amazon, where they have the ebook, they have the Audible book, which I actually ended up reading. That was I have a whole new appreciation for people who do that. That was really tough.
I've always wondered about that process.
It's really tasking on a person. And by the fifth day, I was cursing on and he could hear everything. It's like, can we take that one? I don't want to do it one more time. But so, I'm human. We laughed a lot too under my breath. But anyway, yeah, they can get everything on Amazon. And, Amazon's good for us too, because that's where they can leave reviews. We need more reviews there. I'm being honest. I need more. Like if you go read my reviews, I'm so humble. I think, wow, they got it. Wow. Okay. It's kind of like, it's a whole other thing in life. Wow. Yeah.
Yeah, I'm definitely going to check out the book ASAP.
Thank you.
All right. Well, thank you so much for, coming on and joining me. It's been, truly inspirational and helpful. And I know my, viewers and listeners are going to feel the same. So if they want to follow you on, I don't know if you have any social media or, where can we follow you the best?
I'm on Instagram, Lina Kennedy AP, I think it's called. And then, of course, we have our professional, Alexandria Professional on Instagram, Facebook. I don't run and I don't hide. So anybody wants to find me, they can find me. Yeah.
Awesome. Yeah.
We have a YouTube station too. So it's tons of videos there for information. And if anyone's listening and they want more information, they can feel free to reach out to me. lk.ap@outlook.com. And I can tell them what we're doing and where we're doing our classes and everything. Yeah.
Awesome. And I'll put all those links in the email below.
Perfect. Thank you so much, Jake. It was a pleasure.
Yeah, same to you. Thank you.
Happy birthday tomorrow.
Thank you.